Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. If you're looking for jewelry that makes an impact on your self-care routine and your style, Empowerography would love to offer you a discount code to one of our exclusive partners, Quartz & Canary Jewelry and Wellness Company. Please use code EMPOWER15 to receive 15% off upon checkout at www.quartzandcanary.com. Quartz & Canary is truly the place where spirituality meets style. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Jessica Compton. She is the founder and director of Tree of Stars based in Hamilton, Ontario. How are you doing today, Jessica? I'm
doing fantastic, thanks. And yourself?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today and share a bit about your story and your journey. I'm really looking forward to diving in and chatting with you and hearing a bit about your journey.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited too to share the passion for sure.
Awesome. So can you tell us, Tree of Stars promotes mental health awareness, addiction recovery. Can you talk to us a bit about what it's all about, though? I know that those are the backbones of it, but what is Tree of Stars all about?
Yeah, so 3 years ago, I started doing journal and music workshops in cafes for peer support, anyone welcome at no cost, going around to different Hamilton cafes, just providing people with real life experiences. So with Tree of Stars, I also promote other musicians that have some sort of mental health or addictions recovery or any kind of struggles at that. So promoting them. And then in addition, if anybody comes to the workshops in the last 3 years, just promoting themselves if they're an artist in any way. So yeah, just coming together as community and being there for each other. Obviously with the pandemic, things have changed.
Yeah.
So I brought everything to an online platform.
Right. Is now the artists that you work with, are they specifically artists that deal with or have suffered from mental health issues or addiction recovery, or do you deal with all types of musicians?
All types of musicians, but mainly anybody that wants to participate and share their story. I found even just with musicians just wanting to share their story or their experiences through their lyrics, and as well as artists sharing their story through pieces. So not even saying any words, just sharing the arts as a way of sharing their story and their experience.
Okay. So how do you find or recruit the musicians and artists you involve with the Tree of Stars project?
So music has always been a part of my life. My dad was a DJ. So moving into Hamilton in the last 20 years, I've always helped out different musicians buying, if it's tickets or CD release parties, volunteering. In the beginning started to, have musicians a part of local Hamilton. And then when the pandemic happened, which was super in my eyes, yes, there's a bit of struggle, but I have interviewed over 300 musicians around the world.
Wow.
Since March. So
that's amazing.
So yeah, just recruiting, right now on social media, just recruiting through that.
Congratulations. That's pretty amazing. Yes, as you said, the pandemic has been horrible in ways, and there's been a lot of struggle for a lot of people. But I think that we have to, through all that struggle, we have to kind of see through that and find the silver lining, because there truly are, obviously, with your case, silver linings through this pandemic and what it's enabled you to be able to do with your platform, what it's enabled me to do with my platform. There are silver linings out there. It's just we have to find them and see them for what they are.
Absolutely. And I think that for musicians and any sort of artist is, they're out there gigging, and then all of a sudden pandemic happens and it's like, how do I navigate social media? So I've had to do a little bit of coaching or mentorship when it comes to musicians and going, how do I go live with you on your Instagram? So just coaching them through these steps, and them thanking me after and saying, like, I don't want a payment for my performance because you helped me, go live for the first time. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, just helping each other.
Giving back to the community, which is Absolutely. What Tree of Stars is all about. Now, Why did you what are some of the goals for Tree of Stars project for 2021?
Yeah, so I have already done like a mini documentary, a CD album. There's things I've done in the past, but one thing I haven't done is write a book. So one of the things I would like to do is go not for profit and internationally sell a book of mine with my life experiences, but share other community resources when it comes to mental health and or addiction, so that if there's musicians, traveling around on tour, that they have maybe access to that if it's on Amazon or Indigo, wherever that is. But having released a book of my life story and my experiences and how I can help.
Amazing. I love it. Well, it's a lofty goal, but I'm sure you'll be able to do it. Why did you decide to focus your energy in this platform on mental health awareness and addiction? Did this journey begin with your own personal struggles?
Absolutely. As a young child, I share on my WordPress my life story: abandoned, abducted, abused, addict, ADHD, and arrested 4 times. So a part of my layers of trauma and my years of therapy, I came upon, a bit of photography where I was taking a picture and I noticed that there was a star in this tree. And I decided that I was going to take my own passions and spread the love and encourage, any sort of self-care or self-love, and let people know that they're not alone.
Amazing. That's needed now, I think, more than ever, especially with all the shit that the world is going through right now and the things that everyone's dealing with. This is the perfect time for it. Can you talk to us a bit about your own personal journey and struggles?
Yeah, I find my triggers once in a while, if there's an event that has happened in my past, even though I've been through years of therapy, there's triggers. And I try to take my triggers not so much as a struggle, but try to take it as like a goal area or something that I can gain a strength from. Also, I think my focus with ADHD, it's really hard for me, if I'm working with kids at school, is just to keep focus. So they do have me working with a lot of kids that have a low attention span. So it kind of messes me up. So I kind of feel like I always want to go, or I want to be on my feet. So my struggle would be to sit still, to focus. It's affected some of my friendships or my relationships, just in aspects of them having a little bit more patience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What was the breaking point or light bulb moment for you with your own personal story where you said to yourself, okay, I've got to stop and I've got to start putting the effort into me and me healing and getting better? Was there a light bulb moment for you?
Yeah, I would have to say that the 4th time that I got arrested and I was, when I was incarcerated, I was, sent to rehabilitation. And those were moments where I really had to, open the can of worms and see what sort of, I guess you could say garbage was going on inside me, that I had to open that bag and deal with certain situations or deal with like certain things from my past. And not to say that those things don't come up again. It's right. How am I going to deal with it again and again? So I always say life is a Ferris wheel. It's what we're going to do when we're at a low point and what we're going to do with our highs. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how long did you struggle with these things, with these demons, with these things, before you decided to get help and do something for yourself and start on the path to healing?
I would have to say I'm 44 this year, and 3 years ago, just going back to therapy and really, really digging deep as an adult to say, you know what, I know that there's some things that I haven't dealt with. So just going back and reflecting and recharging myself, but really just, digging really deep. And I think that's different as an adult, because when we're taught as a young child, what wellness is or self-care or self-love or even looking in the mirror. Yeah. So there was, just giving, I would have to say that 3 years ago, I really, really started enforcing that.
Yeah, it's hard to really look within. A lot of people struggle with being able to look within because they don't like what they see inside, and they don't even like what they see in the mirror when what's looking back at them in the mirror. So it's a very, very tough thing, and the struggle is real for sure for a lot of people.
I think that there's been like a bunch of books that I was inspired by, Louise Hayes being one of them. Her books have like exercises that you have to do, Power of Positive Thinking. There's a lot of TED Talks, just watching a lot of positive stuff and taking that step and going, okay, I may not be ready, but I need to start somewhere. Yeah,
exactly. As long as you take that first step and start, right? Now, I think that me personally, mental health awareness is nowhere near where it should be. It doesn't get talked about enough. And in my opinion, it's still swept under the rug like it's a dirty little secret. Would you agree with that? And why do you think that is, in your opinion, that it's still kind of taboo or not talked about as much?
Yeah, I would have to say, because I've worked in group homes, I worked in the school board, I'm out in the community. I think that continuous feeling of being a burden to other people. So if you're suffering from anxiety and depression, people don't want to be around, those situations, or it's that continuous, people look at it as a burden. And if one's suffering from depression and then there's another suffering from depression, I think matching up as peer support, also at a very young age, starting in the schools, if they're in, SKJK or grade 1 or grade 2, learning about regulating your feelings and what feelings those are and where they're coming from and why. Making sure that in school we're allowed to take 5 minutes as space because we're not sure of the situation and how we feel. And even when we do feel a certain way, those emotions, dealing with that even 3 days later, why we're feeling sad about a situation. We're so rushed to say, yep, you're sad, but you got to get up and go fulfill your responsibilities. So if you wake up one day and you're sad, you got to hurry up and be sad because you got responsibilities.
Yeah. The world is in such a rush. We want everything now. It's this culture of having no patience, I think, that plays a big part. And the fact that it doesn't get talked about enough still. I mean, I think that we have made strides in the right direction where it's being talked about more, but it's still not nearly enough, I don't think.
I don't think so either. And I think that, starting individuals at a young age, what self-care is and what self-love is and how to deal with certain emotions and regulate them and why we behave certain ways, and not wait until we're, 30, 40 years old going, why am I such a mess? And how come I don't understand myself?
Yeah. Self-love, I would think, is one of the keys for sure, because everything starts with self. The foundation is self for everything, and everything just emanates outward from that. So it's all got to start within for sure.
I agree.
So to date, what would you say is your biggest high or your greatest win, Jessica?
I would have to say just, limits and boundaries. Limits and boundaries with, I know I help a lot of people, but I also work full time and I also work part time. So my limits and boundaries with how much I support and how much I can help. So I do reference out other resources, which is okay because I'm a sole entrepreneur when it comes to tree first. So I feel with that my success is knowing my limits and boundaries on how much I can do and scheduling in on my calendar. I'm going to spend 2 hours on Tree of Stars this week or 7 hours next week because I don't have a dentist appointment. So fulfilling my calendar to make sure that I'm okay. So my success is checking in with myself and those limits and boundaries.
For sure. Those are definitely key things, dealing with mental health and looking after yourself, for sure. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I would have to say that forgiving people and myself as a strength. So my superpower would be those two together, because if we don't forgive ourselves for certain mistakes and other people, we are going to sit on that for a while. So I feel like that could be a superpower, is forgiving. And if I forgive somebody today and I forgive that same person in 10 years from now, that's going to give me a strength. So that's a superpower right there.
I love it. What was a turning point in your life and how did that affect you?
I would have to say, and I don't know if this is a trigger warning, but just graphically, I've had friends of mine stick their fingers down my throat to make me, throw up the drugs that I just took, or just making sure that I wasn't overdosing in any way. So just waking up and just knowing that those supports around me are still there. Not to say that there's relapses or anything like that, but just knowing that, I was in rock bottom, and the supports I've had around me are still there to this day. So my turning point would be that rock bottom.
Yeah. What is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
I had a drug counselor one time. She had told me, what would happen if you put a bunch of garbage bags in a room and locked that door? And I said, well, that garbage will get really stinky. So she said, you have to find that key and you have to open that garbage bag and deal with your own garbage. And even to this day, even though I was 15 years old at the time and I'm 44, I still remember that piece of advice. Because if you let your stuff build up in a garbage bag and you don't deal with your stuff, it's going to get stinky and it's going to be harder to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. That's great advice. Definitely. What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
Right now, I would have to say that, especially through the pandemic, is just doing artwork. Lately, I've bought some like watercolors and pastels and canvases, just really diving in. I'm a part of a project right now, Conversations 2020. I can send you the link, but sure. It's a pen pal, and this organization, they hook you up with a pen pal that is an artist, and you just exchange back and forth, and it becomes an online exhibit. So right now, I would have to say art right now and music is a huge inspiration for me to want to wake up and go create.
Amazing. Art can do such incredible things, whether it's music or painting or photography. Art is just an incredible, incredible medium. It can change people's lives completely.
Yeah, it's a huge outlet for sure.
It's a huge healer.
Absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead. No, it's okay,
I'm
Jessica.
just going to say, if I can share this piece with you, when I'm doing art, I am there to make a mess. I'm there to make a mistake and just experiment. I would have to say, like, I'm not an artist, but I'm my own maker. So I think that if anybody wants to, reach out to join that organization or that creative piece of the project, it's really, really inspiring.
Yeah, I think people get hung up on how their art or how art has to be perfect or has to look a certain way. And, I'm not an artist. I don't have an artistic bone in my body. Yes, everybody has an artistic bone in their body. It's just whether or not you choose to explore it and whether or not you get hung up on this ideal that it's got to be perfection. Just do it. Just go and do it. If it's painting that's your thing, just paint. It doesn't matter what comes out.
Yep, absolutely agree.
It's artistic expression.
Amen.
Jessica, what would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after learning it?
Yeah, so when I bring my past up all the time, but it was a huge piece of me and my past is, being arrested 4 times. It really, really affected, because my last charge, I was 19. And it was an indictable offense. So I had to wait 11 years to clear my record. So even though I went to college to be a jail guard, I still had to wait out those 11 years to get pardoned. So now that my criminal record's clear and I have worked, with kids for the last 15 years, it was a real struggle to wait out those 11 years to get cleared. And even to cross the U.S. border, I still need I feel like I'm still being cursed for my mistakes, but I can't cross the United States border unless I have a waiver. So I have to pay $1,000 every 5 years. And
holy shit.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm still being consequenced for in some ways but I take that as an asset to work with other individuals that are troubled, to help them and to let them know that there's somebody I used to know, but this is what their path was and this is what they're doing now. So I really just try to use my story as an outlet for other people.
That's amazing. How do you define success? What does that word mean to you, Jessica?
If I were to go back, I would have to say that the calendar that we were talking about with the limits and the boundaries is scheduling in. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be successful, because proper sleep, proper food, it's keeping hydrated. So success would be taking care of yourself, because you can't fulfill anything unless you're well. So success is taking care of yourself.
Brilliant. I love it. I always think of the fact that when you're sitting on the tarmac on a plane waiting to taxi down the runway, and when they give the instructions before you're taking off, they say always put your own mask on first before helping others. Or you think of that, you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself first. It's not selfish. It enables you to help those around you if you're operating and firing on all cylinders, right?
Absolutely.
How would you like to be remembered?
I would, a person that just gives because she wants to give. I don't sit there and go, okay, well, I'm going to give back to the community because it's going to benefit me. I know that when I was younger and throughout my years of supports and resources, I just want to be remembered as a person. And I don't know, I'm starting to study Buddha, but and I got a tattoo on my back too. It's love because you want to love, not because you're going to get something out of it. So for me, I'd want to be remembered that she just gave because she wanted to give.
Awesome. What are you most proud of?
I'm sitting in it right now. It's my Jeep Wrangler. my Jeep Wrangler. For 15 years, I drove around kids from the group home, and now that I work for the school board, I'm not driving kids around. So I gifted myself a brand new Jeep, and it's the best girlfriend I've ever had.
Good for you. That's awesome. I love it. Well, you have to give to yourself sometimes,
Absolutely.
You have to. If you could set up a billboard anywhere, where would you put it, and what would it say?
Oh, I think, promoting mental health and addiction somewhere that, I explain to people that my personality and with my ADHD is like Toronto traffic. So, probably somewhere in Toronto explaining that my ADHD is like Toronto traffic because it doesn't go away, medication or not. It's just super, super busy in my brain and I can't sit still and nothing's going to stop that. So I think even with Toronto, it's just, there's always going to be Toronto traffic.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Interesting. That's a good way of looking at it or explaining it.
Yeah.
What is your personal motto?
I'm going to go back to the Ferris wheel. So, when I'm super low and I'm super high, it's what am I going to do when I'm super low? So if we treat everything like a Ferris wheel and know that, just things aren't perfect and and we're human and this is life. So, when you are up at that top of that Ferris wheel, enjoy it and take it in and remember it. And then when you're at a low point, like with this pandemic too, and I don't want to really repeat about pandemic or reminders, but when you're at that low point, what are the list of things that do make you happy and, feel that out. That Ferris wheel is low, for temporary time. Yeah. But it's knowing, and if I can say this, if I was typing it, I would shout it out, is know your resources and know your supports.
I think it's important too, because I think a lot of people don't take the time to or forget to celebrate those small highs and those small wins and those small successes. You have to revel in those and enjoy them and celebrate them to the fullest for sure.
Absolutely.
What gives you the motivation to keep going?
My Nikon. You know what? I would have to say, knowing that I've made it this far, there's got to be a reason. And I just feel like my purpose and my passion, keeping that light on inside me and knowing that, feeling like I'm at home, within, that keeps me going. And if my light is out for some reason, I need to figure out, how I'm going to light that candle back on inside me, because, with everything that I've been through, I keep saying, I wake up and I'm like, there's a reason why I'm still here. Yeah. And, it's good to have a breath and fresh air and to be alive.
For sure. If you're writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
50 places. So I've lived in 50 places just with foster care system and being arrested and being incarcerated in different places. So I've lived in 50 places. So the book that I really want to write one day is it's going to be about those 50 places.
Awesome. What is the most recent investment you've made in yourself besides your Jeep?
I just sold number 53 of my photography canvas. They're 24 by 24 for $200. I sell them in different cafes, but right now it's curbside or I'll deliver to their doorstep. But just selling the one piece. I mean, I do hobby photography, nothing super professional, but in supports of that photography piece on canvas goes back to the musicians on my Instagram that I interview. So yeah, I would have to say that the photography pieces that.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's great. That's great. How would you describe yourself in one word?
I'm going to have to say alive.
I love it. That's great.
My energy, sometimes people can't handle my energy. I'm okay with being too much.
You're always going to be too much for somebody. Always. It doesn't matter. It's always going to happen at some point. So move on with them. You don't need those people.
Yeah. I mean, I've had some people, I used to be a bully, and I've had people bully me, and, I don't consider that as karma, but I just killed them with kindness. And yeah, people just don't like my energy, where I'm happy, and I'm happy for others, and I want to give back. And if, that success means that you're selling a couple of photography pieces or you're driving a Jeep, that's just materialistic things. Yeah. I know what it's like to live in a box and not have food for 3 days. So everybody has a story. Just kill people with kindness, right?
That's it. Money or fame?
That, I think that's a tough one, but I'm going to have to say fame.
Fame? Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
What makes you smile?
Sunsets and sound of birds.
Okay. My favorite way to unwind is?
Hug a tree.
If I had an extra hour a day, I would
write a letter to the people that I miss that are not here with me today.
Beautiful. If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Be kind to yourself, always.
What's the one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Whew. I would have to say removing some of my trauma from my brain. I know that there's some things that I've been through therapy, not that I have like any regrets or anything, but just there's been some pretty traumatic things that have helped, like that I've been through, that I wish I could just go inside my brain and remove it, but money does not buy that.
Yeah. If you came with a warning label, what would yours say?
I guess beware, she's full of love.
That's a great one. That's a great warning. If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what song would that be?
You can't always get what you want.
Great tune. I love it. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Follow your dreams. When you're like 7 or 8 years old and you're just, you're fearless. You don't really know what life is all about, but I don't know about anybody else, but even just with being, picking up paints or pastels, but when do we stop coloring? When do we stop, stop being that inner child? So
that's it.
Just keep living. Just keep living.
Keep finding that, keep being that inner child. Don't let your inner child go away. That's a big thing. As adults, we forget what it's like to be a kid. And like you said, the fearlessness and the freedom, and it evaporates when we turn into adults. It's crazy.
Yeah, like the question is when does that stop? Does that stop in grade 7, grade 12?
Yeah. And why though? Why does it stop though?
We got responsibilities, right? We did, again, we don't know what that self-care, self-love entitles. So if it is just stopping and breathing and stopping and meditating over a puzzle or a book or, yeah.
Yeah, it's those little things. It's crazy when you think about it. We completely forget about what it's like to be a child and the freedoms of that. Like you said, coloring or painting or whatever. It's crazy. Lastly, Jessica, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like?
We all have a story, but and we can't fix other people, but making a difference is changing the world, which is my hashtag. So we don't have to go out there and change people or do this or that or fix them, but just making that small difference.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I love it. Jessica, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and share a bit about your story and your journey. What you're doing is absolutely incredible work. It's needed. You are an inspiration with what you've been through and what you've overcome, the adversity you've faced, and look at you. You're flourishing. And yes, as you said, it's not always easy and there's still struggles. Of course there is, but you're working on it and you're working on you and you're doing good and giving back to the community. I think that's incredibly inspirational. So thank you so much for the work you're doing and advocating for mental health and addiction. And I think it's incredible.
And thank you, Brad, for having me. It's such an honor to be here. I've saw all your episodes, and keep shining on your end. You're doing some wonderful things yourself, and yeah, maybe one day I'll snag you with a camera and get to meet you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jessica. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest has been Jessica Compton. She is the founder and director of Tree of Stars based in Hamilton, Ontario. Thanks so much, Jessica. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.